But next up, we have Tony Lopez. Tony Lopez, world champion boxer Tony Lopez. He ran for mayor last year. He's here to speak about SB 10. Let's hear it for Tony Lopez. Come on, let's hear it for Tony Lopez.
It's hot. You know, I'm going to read this because every time I start talking, my mind will go one way and I'll keep going. So I got certain things I really want to say, so I'm going to read what I wrote this morning because it's very important. I think it's very important to all of us, not just a few of us, but to all of us. I'm going to talk about SB 10, the pretrial release. Actually, I'm a bail bondsman, and this is why I'm talking about this in Sacramento. Actually, I'm a bail bondsman in the United States because anywhere it's a bail state, I can bail. And it's going to affect us, you, we, the people. And so this is why it's really important. This bill was introduced by Senator Hertzberg. Hertzberg's bill was designed because of low-income criminals would not be able to get out of jail free. Hertzberg's bill states that the criminal has to be assessed 6 hours prior to release or not, with or without conditions that assure the appearance of the defendant. If it is a capital crime, this would introduce because the bill feels as though the bill was only for the rich and that it discriminates against the lower income. Funny thing is, we as bail bonds people know that, you know, if I was to collect all of my money, I'd be a millionaire. But we don't. We make wills and deals all day long. If it was only for the rich, nobody would be out of jail. For example, in New Jersey, they use a risk factor system. This system allows the assessment team to decide whether they will or will not be released or have to stay. The PSA draws on objective data available to the court's computer system, therefore does not require their interview of the defendant. So it goes by his track record, I guess, and not by his personality of what he's really going to do and how he's really going to act in front of you. There are 9 risk factors that they judge by. Although there are 9 that they judge by, as which proved to be a failed system as they released a sex offender, but kept a petty theft criminal. How does that happen? How much tax money is going to cost you, me, and us for the state to take it over? The state wants to take over the bail system, but it's something that's already been in place for many, many years. SB 10 Hertz bill requires that they, number 1, put together a risk agency. Guess what that equals? Tax dollars. The risk agencies job will be to put together risk assessment programs. What does that equal? Tax dollars. Training judges, tax dollars. Prosecutors, tax dollars. Defense attorneys, tax dollars. Pretrial service agencies, tax dollars. Jail staff, tax dollars. Law enforcement agency, tax dollars. Let's compare all those new tax dollars that are going to be implemented to the bail bonds industry, or to you, the people. Now let's compare it to the bail bonds industry. Bail bonds industry costs the taxpayers $0. If we can't find nobody and they're running out on bail, guess who pays it? Not you, the tax people. We, the bail bonds person that wrote that bond. I paid $475,000 in bail things that I did the first 3 years of business because I didn't know how to find people. I haven't lost 1 cent. I learned how to find them. They go, we go. I don't care where. I've been to other countries. I've been to other states. They go, I go. Why? Because they need to fill an obligation, which they didn't do. If not the state takes over, you think they're really going to go after them? You think they're going to put all that effort into it? Because guess what? It doesn't cost them a damn dime. It cost me $475,000. I'm not only going to look up the state, I'm going to look down the state, through the state, and everywhere else for you. Because it's my money, not yours, the taxpayers' money. We already being taxed enough. I'm done. I'm tired of it. SB 10 requires a cosigner. Does not require a cosigner. Check this out. If you come to my office and you don't want to cosign for nobody, guess what? Somebody ain't getting out of jail. Someone else gets all the responsibility. Do they pay it? No, we still pay it. But we have another object to go after that's looking for the defendant. I got a little story for you. You know, there's one time it's not about just, with me, it's not just about bailing people out of jail, making money, and going about my way. You know, there's things we do, and because we're dealing with people's lives. And I do, what I do in my office is, you know, I had a friend whose son was in jail. So him and his mom came to bail him out. He said, go ahead and bail my son out, Tony. So I said, okay, I got him. So he comes in the next day to fill out his paperwork. The mom's sitting there, and he's sitting there, and the kid's all mad. The kid's like 22, 23 years old. And the mom's I'm trying to explain how this thing works with the mom so that she fully understands what the meaning of bail really does mean, how much she's responsible for, and what my responsibilities are, and what his responsibilities are. And in doing so, the kid's sitting there going, F, Mom, oh, man, you're a B, and this and that. I'm looking at this guy like, wow. If that was my kid, I'm just saying. But it went on, and so when we finally got the paperwork done, I told the mom, I whispered in her ear, and I said, look, if you want this kid back in jail, you let me know. I'll pick him up and put him back in jail, and that won't cost you a dime. I said, I'll do it for free. So the mom goes, oh, well, you know, he's just a little upset. So he goes home. So then the next day, guess who comes in up my stairs? The father. Guess who he has? The son. So he comes in, he says, Tony, I don't know what you got to do, but you got to put him back in jail. I'm done. He goes, last night he was hanging out with his druggie friends again. He didn't want to take care of business, so I'm done with him. Put him back in jail. The father almost had tears in his eyes. So I said, here's what we'll do. I said, let's put him back in jail for 30 days. He'll have a bond. He ain't going nowhere. The place is going to go on for a while, so he'll be there for a minute. So put him back in jail for 30 days. He's not jail material. He won't like it. If he does like it, guess what? He's going to go back to jail, and he ain't going to care. So all this money you spending your money is going to do no good. So he goes, okay, well, go ahead and do it. So I take the kid, I put him back in jail. 30 days go by, his father comes up to my office that 30th day. He said, Tony, you promised, remember? I said, let's go get him. I wrote the bond, got him out of jail, comes to the king. I talked to the father, I told the father, I go, look, here's what it is. Again, he's either going to like jail or he's not. But you got to let him find out for himself. Some kids are hard-headed. I was one of them. I had to learn the hard way. I learned that's not the life I want to live. So he's one of those. So the father comes out, we sign our paperwork, he goes away. I don't know, must have been 8, 9 months go by. I haven't heard a thing from him, the son, the mom, nobody. One day the father calls me and says, it was real brief, come funky. I go, bell buns. He says, Tony, this is so-and-so. He goes, hey, man, I'd really like to appreciate what you've done for my son. He's not doing drugs anymore. He doesn't have his drug friends. He's got a job. He's working. He's doing great. Thank you very much. And he hangs up. That was it. But see, I don't think, well, I know our state won't do programs like that because you can't. You can't program like that. You can't see a guy on his paperwork and say, oh, yeah, he's a bad guy or he's not a risk. A piece of paper ain't going to tell you that. Eye to eye, hand to hand, mouth to mouth is going to tell you that. Talk to him. That's going to tell you you know what, in the bail bonds industry, how we evaluate a customer, a client, I talk to the parents. If they want to talk, I talk to the co-signers, the girlfriend, the brother, very few friends because the friends never want to help you out. So it's mostly family. So you judge him by that. Then if the guy comes out, the parents are good, the family's good, you get him out, he comes to your office. What machine is going to tell you that the client is good? Because if he comes to my office and he can't maintain in my office, you're going back to jail because I ain't got time to babysit you. I don't want a risk like that. I'll take him, cuff him, and put him back in jail. I don't care. That's the way it really goes. You tell me what program the state's going to design that's going to do that for you. They're not. So what's going to happen is, and what happens when the jails are full? They start releasing like they are now. They drop felonies down to misdemeanors so they can release. So guess what? They're not misdemeanors running the street, they're felons running the street. They just changed the law so that they can just run the street. And what is it going to affect? It's going to affect you, your family, your kids. It's going to affect everything that you do in life. Because that's where we're headed. Until we start to take a stand, start talking to people, letting people know what you stand for. I'm hardcore. I don't care. This is what needs to be done. It needs to happen. We need to say no. You need to make a stand. Thank you.
But next up, we have Tony Lopez. Tony Lopez, world champion boxer Tony Lopez. He ran for mayor last year. He's here to speak about SB 10. Let's hear it for Tony Lopez. Come on, let's hear it for Tony Lopez.
It's hot. You know, I'm going to read this because every time I start talking, my mind will go one way and I'll keep going. So I got certain things I really want to say, so I'm going to read what I wrote.